Hey guys, welcome back to Digital Learning. Today we're going to continue with some characteristics of quadratics. Most of these we've already learned. The two new ones that we're going to introduce today is our interval of increase and decrease. We talked about these with linear equations, but we have not with our parabolas yet. The main thing to remember when naming our interval of increase and decrease is we're going to name it using x values. Okay, so I'm going to help you be able to identify those values so you can write your interval. We'll go ahead and start with the other characteristics first. I've already got this graph for you. The first one on the list is the vertex. Remember, that's the turning point of the quadratic parabola. And this one is located at -1, -1. I'm going to write that in. The max and min, remember, refers to where is the vertex located, is at the bottom of the graph or the top of the graph. In this graph, it's the very bottom point, so it's a minimum. And we always refer to the y value, and the y value there is -1. So we'll call this where y is -1. Our axis of symmetry, remember, is that imaginary line that cuts the parabola exactly symmetrically in half. It goes right through the vertex. And so because it's a vertical line, we name it x equals, and it's going to, since it goes through the vertex, it's the same as the x value of the vertex. So x equals -1. Our zeros are where the graph crosses or touches the x-axis. This one is not as pretty as some of the other ones, so we're going to have to estimate here. When I look at this x-intercept, it's between -1 and -2. It's close to -2, but more than halfway. So I'm going to estimate it to be -1.750. And then the other x-intercept, it's not quite to the halfway. It's closer to the 0. I'm going to call it -0.250. So that one's an estimate. You got to do the best you can sometimes. Our y-intercept, it's where the graph crosses or touches the y-axis. It's right there. And the name of that point is 0, 1. Now for our intervals of increase and decrease. So remember, we always read our graph from left to right. Starting at the vertex, that is where the graph started to increase. Prior to the vertex, the graph on this side is going down as we go left to right. And right there at your vertex is where it changes over. So the important numbers here are, remember, we're talking about x values. So I'm going to remind you, we're talking about x values. These graphs are non-real world graphs, so they're going on forever and ever. So we got -infinity and +infinity. And our x value here and our axis of symmetry is x is -1. Now seeing this, we can see our intervals when we label it like this. The interval increase starts at the vertex x value, which is -1. And it's going to continue to increase forever into infinity. So we have -1 to infinity. -1 we can be equal to, so we're going to use a bracket. Infinity we cannot, so we're going to use a parenthesis. Now let's look at our decrease. That's this green section here. It started decreasing somewhere way back in -infinity, and it stops when it hits the vertex, because that's when it's going to turn around, and that's at -1. So our interval there is -infinity to -1. We cannot be equal to -infinity, but the -1 we can include. All right, so that gives you one full one worked out. I'm going to get you set up and help you answer the interval of increase on number 2, and I'll set you up on number 3, and you'll complete all the rest of the work as your assignment for today. Take a picture when you're done and upload it to the assignments. So I'm going to trust that you can get all of these other characteristics because we have reviewed them quite a bit. Here is our axis of symmetry. To the right of the axis of symmetry, as we read left to right, the graph is increasing. To the left of the axis of symmetry, we are decreasing until we hit that vertex. All right, so both ends, remember, these are non-real world, so they go on forever and ever. So the graph for our domain would have been -infinity to +infinity. We have this axis of symmetry, the value of which is 2 right here in the middle. So the increasing, where is it going up? Left to right. That's this pink section. So it started where x is 2, and it's going on until infinity. Where was it decreasing? That's over here on the left. It started somewhere back in negative infinity, and it turned around at the vertex with an x value of 2. So we're going to use negative infinity to 2. All right. So this last one, I'm going to set up for you, but I'm not going to answer it for you, and all the rest you're going to do on your own. So we've got our axis of symmetry. This time, we're increasing on the right, and that's because our parabola is opening down this time. And on the left, we turned around at our vertex, and on the left is where we're decreasing. All right, so same thing. The domain would have been negative infinity to positive infinity, because remember that these are x values. They changed direction at our axis of symmetry, which is 3 right here. And when we do that, we can see our intervals. So I'm not going to answer that one for you. You've got to do it yourself. So go ahead and answer the rest of these on this page. And then on this back page, answer all of these questions. When you're done, take a picture, upload it, email me if you have any questions. Talk to you guys later.